Bada bum bum bum. HFR from the floor. Mistrade used to be. Matt Davio, the don't. It's Market Vitals. MarketVitals.io is our portal. Man, everybody's portaling these days. What portal are you in?
Clouding, portaling.
Ray Liotta portaling to the other side. R.I.P. Ray Liotta, Matt, right off the bat. I mean, he played his parts with such authenticity. I don't think it was really acting. That's just my opinion.
Just like Joe Pesci.
Just like, Pesci, I heard firsthand that his first audition that De Niro got him, they made him wait like 3 hours, right? And he was so pissed off waiting, he burst in and told them all to go fuck themselves and left. Left the audition, and they were like, that's the guy.
That's the guy we want.
That's the guy we want. I don't know if that's true. Semi firsthand. Everything in this world is semi firsthand.
What's the movie where he is telling the story and narrating?
That's Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, yeah.
Yeah. Always wanted to be a mobster. Always wanted to be a gangster. Matt, let's do it because we always do it. As the World Economic Forum wraps up, the elites trusting each other more and more because most of them benefit giant beneficiaries of higher crude, no matter what they want to tell you in their narrative sessions. It's just the truth, Matt. So they're firing up their jets, Matt, and we said this all week, that crude had been incredibly quiet. But apparently, whatever the narrative sessions produced, it's going to mean higher gas prices for you, higher jet fuel prices for them. But they're all billionaires, so they really, it's
yeah. People don't realize this, but the inflation really doesn't affect the elites because of
they have it's like a stiff, a great stiff arm. We had Barry Sanders yesterday. He wasn't much of a stiff arm. Walter Payton was a stiff arm guy. Barry, you just never got a hand on him.
I mean, we talked about it as soon as this opened. Again, basically, you could have followed oil this morning at 5:30 and said, "Oh, this is what the Nasdaq, this is what SPOOs, this is what every asset's going to do today, and this is what's happened." We went straight up. We went straight up $5. We said, we're just hanging around 110 for the last week until this is done, and it's done now. They're flying out. They've already left, and whoosh. I don't know about you, but 5% a day is a pretty good day. And again, that's really what we said, would likely happen. So
I mean, the hypocrisy is insane. It's insane if you can't see the irony and the hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
The Norwegian Wealth Fund. You think they doing a little better on another 5% tacked onto all the crude that they pump out of the North Sea?
Yeah,
I don't know. Seems pretty. Anyway, Matt, the other irony out of the World Economic Forum, if I could share, and this is we got a nice thread here because this guy. Hold on, let me get the breaking out of there. Avi's been killing it there, Matt. He's with Rebel News, and he's been accosting, I would say. Well, really not accosting, just asking people general questions about these ironies that we've been pointing out.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about that he didn't have to be jabbed to get on a plane from Australia, cross the world. Don't have to be jabbed to land in Switzerland. You don't have to be jabbed to have public transportation in Switzerland. But to get into the World Economic Forum, to participate in any of the breakout sessions that they're having there, you need to be triple jabbed to get in. And he says, because it's all for show.
Yeah, it's a good thing I have a jab card. I could have got in.
But the other news on the jab was this from Andrew Boston, MD. Thank you, Andrew. 18 major airlines, FAA, and Department of Transportation to be sued over COVID vaccine mandates. First lawsuit against Atlas Air. I'm not sure if they're publicly traded. Atlas Air, cargo carrier, mostly 747s. We're seeing many pilots are experiencing health conditions, specifically cardiac issues. you've been saying this for a long time, Matt. This gets real sticky when lawyers get involved and the jab companies thought they had immunity. Well, why don't you bring up that, share the article about the Pfizer thing as you did, because I think this is if they prove that they acted fraudulently in order to get the protection, I think that's the way the lawyers are going to attack on this. No.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been saying that for over 2 years that Moderna is going to be the biggest fraud since, and much bigger than Enron was. It's the same stuff. I mean, it's even worse because they were totally lying about everything. And this guy, Matthew Crawford, writes a real nice Substack, Rounding the Earth newsletter. He covers a lot of what's going on in the Southern District of New York, a lot of cases, right? He's kind of like a court reporter. And a good one. And I highly recommend you follow his newsletter here, Rounding the Earth newsletter. And the one yesterday, Pfizer trial fraud, the House of Cards, right? Shakes. And he's got the little house of cards and then summarizes it here of what is to come. The trial basically is not demonstrating any efficacy at all. The trial reports. A whistleblower that was buried for more than a year has shared how poorly and dishonestly her trial site was run. And FDA never checked 94% of the trial sites. It looks like a lot of the trial sites were even fabricated, made up. I mean, imagine that, Bob. And then
you get really good results on your made-up trial site.
Yeah, again, I could be a heck of a scientist if I could make up my own results on.
Now, listen, we're going to follow all the science that we paid for. Let's just make sure that we.
And now evidence is clearly suggesting that the vaccines are inducing or creating this next wave of COVID cases. That's already that's been clear to most people, and the methods that they used showed zero efficacy again, and the price fixing or the data fixing is just out of hand. So read this article; it's pretty interesting. I think this is just the tip of the spear here, and he's got a lot of good details in here. And again, this stuff is very well, again, there's some good journalists out there covering stories that we're all interested in, you should be interested in. And if your families and need to be woken up and are still preventing you from seeing grandpa, I mean, show them this stuff because they're not seeing it. They're never going to see it on CNN. And it's not conspiracy theories. F off, STFU, because this shit is real. Wake up.
Matt, even more real than that is the price discovery around it. And we have not looked at Pfizer or Moderna in a while.
No,
for that matter, we haven't looked at many of the airline stocks.
And you had mentioned Atlas, so I'll bring that one up because I did find it here as you were asking. Atlas does trade, Atlas Air Worldwide Holdings. And it's a distribution company basically, right? They're probably flying shit all over. They probably do military and they're probably flying military products to Ukraine. That's probably why it's been up so much here, even into this. Hey, right side of this is not going to look good. Again, this is a great. This is why we do this every day, because we find new names. We talk about subjects based on an article that you said had nothing to do with this, but now we look at this and go, wow, we're just getting back into value down here, 68. If this thing bounces, I don't think you can go wrong by buying puts and selling this thing, quite honestly. This to me looks like it's probably done. If you're a trend line trader, that's been broken. The upside trend is clearly broken. And, that's in play. Why would you buy it, Bob? Why would you buy it?
Especially when you think about air transport in a world seemingly headed towards recession,
right.
Lawsuits, recession, demand destruction. How many other things you got to mention fundamentally? And you already have the right side in the chart. So again, what's the top end of that value?
The top end is $60.
$60 and the point of control.
Point of control is 24. The low end is 16.
Bingo.
That's a daily chart too. No, that's a 610 chart.
But that's going back a couple of years, so
it is going back a couple of years. But you look at the longer term chart, and it gets even worse. Obviously, we're now on a daily chart. You can see we're entering value. We've already entered it, so that suggests 32 will be traded. And on this one, 46 is the point of control.
Bada bing, bingo.
That's a pretty safe short. in my book. Like, you know, a lot of people don't like to short, but that's a pretty safe one. That one's not probably going to get into the crosshairs of the Reddit bros, and it's not going to, you know, be one of those that is taken advantage of.
That you get memed out of your position.
Correct.
Right on. All right, Matt, we saw at the World Economic Forum, two things also. Gates saying with breakout cases, why do you have to, you know, the first smart thing I've heard him say recently.
Yeah, but he doesn't even realize how stupid he is when he says those things. That's
well, the Moderna CEO saying we have 30 million doses we're throwing in the trash because nobody wants them, especially countries that are going to enforce liability law.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the countries he wants the jab to go to, and none of them are going to take it unless they expose him to liability, and they don't want the liability.
Well, there's been a number of countries that have said we don't want to jab K through 12s anymore. So like this stuff's coming out. They're done. Like again, the numbers are showing the governments are saying we can't push this stuff anymore because this data doesn't lie. Pfizer, Moderna do, but the data doesn't lie, you mother effers.
Right on, man. Right on.
So
that's Moderna short.
This is Moderna. Right? It's just dragging along the bottom again. If it bounces up to 150, be glad to sell it again. That's all I would say. I'm not doing anything with it right here. It's just dragging along the bottom. It's chum. It's chum. You know, we've talked about this forever. It's chum. And they think they're going to get a midterm bump. Man, maybe they will. Maybe they get it up to 150. But this daily chart is so broken, Bob. Any rally that you see here, I'm a seller. Like if you got up to 175, I'd be hammering the shit out of it. So, but
it doesn't matter what happens in the fall when COVID lockdowns start. Somebody just shared, in the summer notes from their administrator at the school, already preparing them for fall disruptions in the.
There's no doubt they're not going to stop. They don't want to throw away 30 million doses. They want to jab you, Bob. They want to jab you 17 times. Pfizer, the same thing. We're getting a bounce again. We held there at 47. We're back to the 61.8 line. Sell it again.
Welcome to the lab. You're going to get the jab, Matt. I sang it last night at open mic, and it's amazing how much better response I get every time I sell it. I sing it as time evolves.
Yeah, interesting, right?
Yeah, very interesting. Matt, this shared by Daniel Coates. Government Dan McKee will sign a bill outside the state house legalizing recreational cannabis in Rhode Island. These pot companies, they're making headway on recreational legalization. Unfortunately, I'm making headway also on sharing the fact that you can grow basically a decade supply in one summer.
Yeah, but also the problem, Bob, I don't know if this is true, but I think in most states you have to grow. The pot has to be grown in your state. So do you think the pot in Rhode Island is going to be any good when it?
Are you telling me that Rhode Island is going to grow ditchweed?
I'm just saying the only place they're going to be able to grow it is in a greenhouse. So it's not going to be.
I don't know. There's a long enough summer. It's not like corn that has to be in the ground by last Wednesday.
No, but it's
yesterday.
Maybe. Anyways, my point is there's a lot of different, until the feds open this up, and they still haven't. We've had 2 years of Biden, year and a half of Biden, whatever, and they still haven't. So we've made it this far. I would say it's not going to get done.
Well, we have never been a proponent of being long pot stocks in the 2 years we've been doing this, have we?
No, we haven't.
We have never.
Now they're getting awfully cheap, and
they are getting cheap, Matt. Let's let you pick a blunt du jour. What is the blunt du jour today?
We'll just go CGC. It's the big dog. But again, the lows that this thing continue to make.
Share it up.
Hold on 1 second. I actually started with the longer term daily chart, and it sure ain't pretty, Bob. 546 currently trading, was down 470 is the year low, 470. So we're 20%. We're 20% off the bottom. I guess that's good.
That's a bull market. You can't tell me something down 20% is a bear market and not also tell me something up 20% is a bull.
But here's the issue. Here's Biden starting from, so basically Biden's killed the pot market.
Who knew short pot, long crude?
Right.
Who knew that? Biden coming in.
Now, more importantly, I know you want to talk about this, but we got to switch a little bit to pot. We're going to go from pot to, this.
Well, the other one that you shared was the lawsuit from Gruden getting okayed by a.
Throw that up there also, because we talked about that day one. That was such bullshit. Dan Snyder is scum, the owner of the Redskins. He's the one that's burying the true story here. And Gruden was
complete deflection too.
Complete deflection. And Gruden was the fall guy. Yeah, great. He had his emails on his server. So he, this is what elites do. This is what elites do. The problem is people like Gruden also have money, and he's not going to stand back. He's a fucking competitor, and he's going to go, all right, you want to play? I'm going to expose all your shit, Roger Goodell, and I'm going to expose you, Dan Snyder. And why wouldn't he? You guys want to play ball? He'll play ball. There's plenty of lawyers that will take a case against the NFL for John Gruden. I can tell you that. For sure.
Especially in the less, it seems like the woke world is crumbling all around themselves.
I mean, I watched for a second time last night with another friend of ours. Early, we watched the Ricky Gervais again last night, and we just loved it. What an excellent job of being a comedian and being ironic and satire. I was going to say satirist,
satirical.
Satirical. It was beautiful. I loved it. Hilarious. There was dwarves. There was trannies. There was all kinds of things to laugh at. Straight white men.
Was there Italians?
Straight white men. Straight white men were mocked all day by himself in a beautiful, ironic way, and I won't ruin it for people.
Right on. All right, Matt. It's a
great thing.
We're leaving early. That's how we do it sometimes at Market Vitals. Come in.
Yeah, and don't get too excited about. Listen, I'm going to talk some big levels, macro levels, because we're basically month end here, right? We're basically month end, and we have today, tomorrow, which I'm not going to trade. And I would recommend, if you've been long and you got stocks up across the board, you got oil up across the board, you got bonds down, right? So that should give you some pause again. The bonds have not been rallying into this, this move this week. They've just been hanging around. And then the other thing I've been watching all day, why isn't gold up so big with all the other assets? That should give you a pause also. And I'd like to say that, and I'm going to bring up gold here just to show this, Bob, because why are we not having price inflation in gold again here? I mean, we had it, and we had a little rally from 1784 up to 1870, and now it's feeling heavy again on this chart. Gold is going lower. It is going lower.
Bingo, 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 bongo. Bongo, bingo.
And I'm kind of locking up here, so I apologize.
No, that's all right. Is he all locked up?
My machine seems to be ready for
a crash. Lee's asking for Indy 500 winner. I'm gonna say a car driver will win that. Yeah. Not a jockey.
And it could be somebody with a penis or a vagina.
Oh. They're just going to give us endless amounts of material. That's what we got. We'll be back tomorrow for a short one. Matt, I might have to go early tomorrow. I just got into my guy. Tennis elbow, lower back issue. I got a lot going on physically that I need.
Well, we can go today. Today's another nice day, and we can go right around 3:30. I can play.
No, I'm telling you, I got tennis elbow developing. It's a developing story.
Play left-handed. You're better anyways, left-handed. You get to the forehands better on the left hand.
Done. What I wish they would do? I would wish they, like every other year, they should run the Indy 500 the other way. Why do they always go the same way?
The counterclockwise race.
Yeah. Why don't they
so on odd number years you go counterclockwise?
Yes.
I like
that. Let's turn the clock the other way. Can anybody make a left turn, or is it still the same turn? Are you turning right or left either way you go?
I really like that a lot. Hey, we were going to talk about housing, so let's talk about it a little bit.
You know what? I had it here, and then you told me that my data was 2 days old.
No. I gave you the new data.
I know. Yeah. Matt, I didn't make to my show notes.
Well, you had the chart ready to go. We talked about it.
There we go.
There it is.
Matt, this is Realtor.com reports weekly inventory up 9% year over year. Let's go to Economics 101, Matt. When inventory goes up, what happens to price?
Usually goes down.
Usually. And higher prices beget more inventory, and that's how the cycle works. Amazing to me, Matt, that the Fed is so bent on not having cycles when that's all humanity has had forever.
Well, and that's why people like Marty Armstrong, who we mention often on this show and have interviewed in the past here on the show, this is why that's what it's all. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything cycles, and it's all connected, right? And right now, I would love to see a rally in housing. I'd love to get them all jazzed up again. I'll just keep selling it every time it goes up because it's just beginning the downside. And that for me pertains to all of real estate. I don't think there's any safety out there. And especially talking to people locally that have bought a number of houses here, they're so frothy still. And I'm like, oh my God, they're like, Bend is so different. It's Aspen. I'm like, fucking Aspen's, 3,000 people. This is 250,000. It's not Aspen. When I start hearing,
and I have said that since I moved here in 2014, I've laughed in disbelief when people try to make that comparison. Yep. This is not Aspen. All right.
Never will be.
Never will be. Never.
And
all right.
So again, you got new listings going up. The pricing, we've already seen pricing reductions here. It's happening big time in California. We're behind California. We're always lagging here. We're always about 9 to 12 months behind here. So let them gobble it up. Let them chase the few. I've talked to a few smart realtors who are telling their customers, don't buy, just wait. And so people are starting, and so once the waiting starts and then price begins to fall, more waiting begins, right? And more waiting means wait for lower prices and no bids. And when there's no bids, what happens, Bob? What happens in a market when there's no bids?
Well, in particular, it's important who's got the sell order and how aggressive they try to find that bid.
That's right.
And that's also a metric of the market, especially in housing. Like when you sell because you have to, well, that's when you see.
Yeah, and Pax was talking about that in one of his videos on Instagram this week. I don't know if you saw that. He put up a video talking about sell when you can, not when you have to. And that's true in any market. And I've tried to tell this to friends of ours that we personally mutually both know and have said, listen, you having a chance now to make, generational wealth off your house. Sell it. No, it's what am I going to do? I'm like, rent, like the money that you make, pay a little bit more right now in rent, maybe, but that's only short term.
And that is short term because rents are going to come down too.
Rents are going to come down too. So it all follows in line, right? So yeah, you might have to pay a little bit more than your 1.2% mortgage that you had, but if you can make $700,000 to $1 million, you're never going to make that kind of money in housing. That's insane for a cookie cutter 2,500 square foot home that anybody can build.
Bingo.
In a neighborhood that anybody can build.
All right, Matt, listen, the best part of my day was an incredible comeback win in my chess match against my nephew. And he's still staggering right now. Took my queen in like the 5th move, and I came back and won the game down a queen. It doesn't happen often. But anything can happen in chess and in markets. So be prepared.
Hey, I got to say something to you. Another great game last night. I don't know if you caught any of the, of McKinnon playing for Denver last night, for the Avalanche. Did you see the goal that took the lead? That was 3-3. Okay. Colorado goes up 3-0 after 2. St. Louis comes back at Colorado, ties it up 3-3. There's 8 minutes left. Furious game. And St. Louis, tied it up on a furious thing. Then the McKinnon goes and gets his hat trick, right, with 3 minutes left. Have you seen the?
I have not. Why don't you share?
I'm going to show that because this is truly, Bob, an unbelievable feat of skating, puck handling, shooting that this man
The
put on.
skating and the shooting.
Driving wide, kicks it to Rampton. Rampton maneuvers McCarr down low. McKinnon, he scores! McKinnon driving.
What was the goalie doing? Why didn't the goalie punch him?
That was 2 in the first, right? But watch this. Watch the thirds. The third is the one that gives them the lead. Okay, it's 3-3. They're going to come to it, I think. Right?
You think?
He is jumping.
Guaranteed, probably. Oh my God!
Weren't able to get it into the offensive zone. They do, and all it takes is
Look at that skating, dude.
It looked to me like he banged on the first one, Shane here. But was able to get it back. No, just
it popped up. That was a lucky goal.
But he also
Popped up and went off the Blues.
to his game. There's a little move in the neutral zone. Brings the puck. When it looked like Colorado Avalanche.
He's trying to find the other one.
The offensive zone. They do, and all it takes is one time.
You know, Matt, it'll be helpful if in pregame you have this set up to where you want it to just hit play from.
Yeah, I didn't set it up before, but the goal that he made to tie. Okay, so we were tied 3-3, and McKinnon gets the puck behind his net. Bob, let me just talk a little bit. Talk about how great playoff hockey is, and I'm going to find this because.
Lee, what are the 3 favorites in the Indy 500? And I'll pick one of them, a guaranteed probably winner out of HFR's mouth. Canada. Matt is still looking. Why don't we play a little game? Who can find the game winner? Was it a game winner, by the way, too?
Well, no. Hold on. So this is I'll tell you the rest of the story.
Paul Harvey, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
With the rest of the story. We went to OT, Lee's saying. Lee's asleep on the couch. This show for sure is putting people to sleep.
For sure. But it's it's holiday. It's holiday. Here we go. You ready? We're ready.
Yeah.
Watch him from behind the goal. Watch this motor.
It's 2 in the game, and he's flowing into the zone. He's the McKinnon.
Oh my God! Did he put it through? Nutmegged him between the legs?
Yeah. It was, dude. No, you got it. Like the whole puck. Oh, dude, it was just watch it here. We'll do it again. It's so amazing.
Go full screen on it for us. Come on.
Hold on.
He's got nine views going here. I think he goes.
No, he splits it. Look at that, and then up over his shoulder. The whole thing. What?
He gone.
Anyways, and then St. Louis ties it with, and I had to go pick up somebody after a graduation in Redmond. So I missed the fact that St. Louis tied it and then beat them in overtime to come back to St. Louis for Game 6, Bob. That'll be Saturday night. Another good weekend of sports. We got Calgary, Edmonton tonight, Game 6. Edmonton's looking to, or Game 5, I think. They're up 3-1. They're looking to close it out in Calgary, the Battle of Alberta, which has been a great series too. So, and Colorado's unbelievable. So for Colorado to lose that game after that goal from McKinnon at home, kudos. And oh, by the way, there was at least 2,500 hats on the ice in Colorado after that goal.
Nice.
So how about those fans? They get to witness one of the most amazing goals, lose their hat, throw it on the ice, thinking, I'll buy a championship series one coming up next. And now they got to go to St. Louis for Game 6. The whole thing changed quickly.
Big time. I've never had the heart to throw my $30 hat that I just bought at the stadium onto the ice. All the years I was for sure close enough in Chicago,
right,
to throw anything I wanted on the ice. Never did it.
Never did it.
That gene runs deep in this Irishman. I am not throwing the 30. You might as well just throw a 20 and a 10 on the ice. Are you going to do that? You're going to pull out a 20 and a 10 and throw it on the ice?
Yeah,
no, you're not doing that.
I'm not going to do it.
Rangers, Lee. Rangers, your only hope.
I would.
Shining light in New York metropolitan area sports. The Rangers.
Now, I would throw the octopus because I don't want to take it home. That's what
I would shrimp mojo that octopi and a nice saute of olive oil and butter, a little squeeze of lemon. Forget about it. Forget about it. All right, Kurt, you're late. We're going to admit you to say goodbye.
No, I just denied him. Sorry, Kurt. You got to get here on time if you want to see the live show.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. All right, man. The holidays, Memorial Day coming up. Of course, the weather in Bend is going to be 50 and raining, just like the rest of the spring has been.
Yeah. Not until, you know how it is. Not until July 4th do we turn the summer on here. It's just the way it works.
Well, not since I've been here for the last 7 years. This is very unusual.
Oh, this is normal.
Very unusual.
Very.
All right, Matt. Congratulations on your climate change agenda. And we'll be back tomorrow for another Market Vitals. Please join us at marketvitals.io. Please share.
Hey, by the way, what happens to coffee and climate change?
Oh, it's a big, you're going to spend about $30 a glass for coffee. Pretty sure that's how it's going to work out. Everything's more expensive.
Right.
All right, Matt, elite tennis player that he is. We will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, Lee.
See you, boys.